this is Gina. Today I'm going to show you how to make this little crystal embellished flower bracelet. I'm calling it Sparkling Daisies. I think it turned out really cute. This is using Super Duos and crystal, of course. This is a 7.5-inch bracelet. You will adjust your length by adding or subtracting units or using a different size clasp. You can even change the very end part of the bracelet to either subtract or add length. You can either do more of the units in between these end units here, you can do more of them, or you can leave off some of this. It just depends on how you want to do it. But the easiest way would be to add and subtract flower units. Anyway, this is what we're making. Let me show you what it looks like on the wrist so that you can get an idea against my skin what it looks like, because that always kind of helps. If I can get it on. Okay, there we go. Alright, so that's what that looks like on. I think it turned out really, really cute. And so let's go ahead and look and see, that's the clasping there. We'll go ahead and look and see what it takes to make this bracelet today. Okay, today for this project we will be using Super Duo beads. I am using a cream luster Super Duo. Then we will be using 2 colors of 3mm bicones and 1 color of 4mm bicones. My first color of 3mm bicones is a fuchsia. My second color of 3mm is an emerald green, and my third is roseland. It's kind of a pinkish orangish color. And they are all 3 Swarovski crystals. Then we will be using 15O, 11O, and 8O seed beads. All 3 of mine are Toho, and my 15O is gold olive iris. My 11O is an antique bronze color, and my 8O is a dark gold bronze. Then we will need a toggle clasp. I'm using a very small toggle clasp, about a 1/2 inch. And you can use a little larger one if you'd like. It's just that you will have to adjust the ends for your length. Then I'm going to use nanofill 10 pound. You can use 8 pound nanofill also, or you can use 8 or 6 pound fireline. That will all work just fine. And I'm going to be using a size 10 beading needle. You'll want to put about 2 wingspans of thread onto your needle. A wingspan is when you stretch your arms straight out side by side like you're going to fly away, and you measure from fingertip across your chest to fingertip. So go ahead and thread your needle and let's get started. Okay, to start this project, you will pick up an 8O seed bead, 2 11Os, an 8O, and 2 11Os. For this project, you will want to leave a long tail to put the clasping on your end. Now, I'm not going to leave a really long tail, but you need to leave 12 to 16 inches. I'm not going to do that simply because I don't want you to watch me struggle around it. So leave 12 to 16 inches for your tail, and then come back up through your first 8O seed bead on your thread. So on your tail side, just come back through. And then we are going to sew back through all these beads. So let me show you what we have here. Now I'm coming out of this 8O seed bead. I'm going to hold on to my tail, hold on to my beads, and go into the 2 11Os, and then the next 8O. And I'm covering them because if I do not and I pull, they'll slip right off my thread. So I'm just going to, or they'll shorten my tail at least. Now, I've sewn all the way around my beads until I am coming out where my tail is. And right here, I'm going to take my working thread and my tail, and I'm just going to do an overhand knot and bring it down between the beads and tighten them. And then I'm going to tie one more little knot, and bring them down between the beads. And this is what I have, just kind of a little square. We're coming out between the 11-0 and the 8-0 here. We're now going to go up into this 8-0, and we're going to sew through the two 11-0s here. And then we're going to sew through this 8-0 here. And this is what you should have. Your tail on one side, your working thread on the other. Now, we're going to pick up a 15-0 seed bead. Let me back off a little so I stay in frame for you. I'm going to pick up a 15-0, and then I'm going to pick up a 4mm bicone crystal and a 15-0. I'm coming out of this side of this 8-0 seed bead. I'm going to go into the opposite 8-0 seed bead, and the same side I'm coming out of this seed bead. So you're just going to go straight across and pull this down over the top. And then you're going to pick up a 15-0. At this point it's going to be loose, and that's okay. It's kind of hard to hold on to. It's little. And then you're going to go back into the bicone crystal. So I'm coming out of this 8-0 seed bead right here. I'm going to go pick up my 15-0, go back through the bicone. I'm going to cover the bicone with my thumb so I can hold it steady and tighten that. So now it's pulling down over my beads. I'm just going to push that little 15-0 up on top of the 11-0s and pick up another 15-0. And then I'm going to go into the opposite side I started from. So I started from this side of the 8-0. I am now going to go into this side of the 8-0 seed bead and pull. And this is what you should have. Now we're going to start the flowers. So we're going to pick up a super duo seed bead, a super duo bead, not a seed bead, 3 11-0 seed beads, and then a super duo, and then 3 11-0s, and a super duo. And when you have 3 super duos on with 2 sets of 3 11-0s, you will then pick up an 8-0 seed bead. And then again, you'll pick up a super duo, 3 11-0s, a super duo, 3 11-0s, and a super duo. Let me get you close here so you can see. So super duo, 3 11-0s, super duo, 3 11-0s, super duo, 8-0, super duo, 3 11-0s, super duo, 3 11-0s, super duo. I'm going to drop these down to my thread, or down on my thread, and down to my little project. And now I'm coming out of this side of this 8-0 seed bead. I'm going to go into the opposite side, and I'm going to pull these beads into a circle like so, and then I'm going to sew back around this circle to secure it. Let me back off a little bit, and I'm just going to start sewing through all of these beads. Now, someone asked me the other day in a comment why I just don't double my thread because I sew through my beads so much. Well, the thing is if you double your thread, you're going to end up with pretty thread-heavy beads inside. And a lot of times you have to sew back through all your beads for embellishments or whatever. So plus just the act of sewing through it again tightens things. I don't think that a double thread will work in a lot of projects, in some perhaps. I've sewn all the way around, and I am coming out of this 8/0 seed bead. So just sew around and secure. A single thread is much easier to work with as far as how much thread is in your needle, plus tangling will probably be less of an issue. Now I'm going back through this 8/0 seed bead in the bottom hole that I started in, and I am just going to tighten everything. And then in the same seed 8/0 or super duo, excuse me, not 8/0, super duo, I'm going to come up through the top hole. And I'm just going to hold on to my bead and pull this thread back through. Now I'm going to loosely start sewing through the top holes of all my super duos. So I've just sewn through that one. I'm going to push this one to the center, sew through the middle, and you don't have to pull these really tight just yet because it'll be hard to sew back through, which we are going to do. So just start to thread it through all of the super duos in the top hole. When you get back to where you started, go into the two super duos right underneath your crystal here. Go through the two of them together. You can give it a little tug now, but still don't tighten it too much because you want to sew back through. So now I'm going to go through this one here, and then I'm going to go through these two together, the ones that are parted by the 8/0 seed bead. Sew through them together. It's just better that way. Then this middle one, and I just gave it a little tug as I pulled through there. You want to start tightening this now. So I'm going to tug as I go through this one, and then I'm going to go through just one of these two here and exit. So let me get you close. I'm just coming through this one, and I am exiting between the two super duos. I'm going to put my thumb on top, and I'm going to give this a nice tug to tighten all my beads. And this is what it should look like. Now you're going to pick up a 15/0 seed bead and then a 3mm bicone crystal, and I'm going to use pink, and then I'm going to pick up a 15/0 seed bead. I'm coming out of this super duo right here on this side. I'm going to go over to the opposite super duo and go through the same side right here. And I'm going to pull this down. And you're going to give this a nice tug. You want that to be nice and tight. Your 15/0s will lay on top of the super duos and cover any thread there. Now we're coming out of the bottom hole of this super duo next to the 8/0 seed bead here. And we're going to pick up a 15/0 seed bead, and then I'm going to pick up one of my green bicone crystals, like so. Now I'm coming out here, I'm going to go into the middle 11/0 seed bead right above where I'm coming out of, right here. On the same side from which my needle or my thread is exiting the super duo, I'll go into the same side of this 11/0. And then you have to make sure this pulls down nice and tight. So give it a nice little tug so it lays just like that on top of there. Then we're coming out of this 11/0 here. We're going to go into the 11/0 next to it, the super duo, and the 11/0 after it, and the one after that. So two 11/0s. So we'll always be working out of the middle 11/0 in the set of 3 11/0s. And pull through. Get my tail out of the way. Remember, you'll have a nice long tail, so just keep pushing it out of the way. And then pick up another bicone crystal and then a 15O seed bead. You'll only be putting 15Os in the center, not on the side where the 11Os are. Now we're coming out of this side of this 11O. We're going to go into the super duo on the same side right here. And we'll go through both these super duos that are doubled together here underneath the crystal. We'll go through both of them at once. And sometimes it's a little difficult. Super duos can be kind of a pain in the butt to go in and out of, so just take your time. Pull that crystal down nice and tight. Give it a good tug. And then turn your piece. We are now coming out of this super duo here on the other side of the crystal, right here. And we're going to pick up a 15O seed bead, a bicone crystal, and we're going to go into the 11O on the same side from which we're coming out of the super duo, the center 11O. And we'll go through the one behind it and the one behind the super duo here. If you can't get into the next one behind that, that's okay. We can do that separately. But we'll always be working in the middle 11O. So we're going to pull this crystal down, nice and neat. If you need to, you can always reach and kind of pull up your 15O so it doesn't get stuck down between the super duos like this one is. I just lift them up. Make sure they're nice and neat looking, like so. And then we'll go into this middle 11O here. Nice little tug. This has to be really tight and neat looking, or you'll have a big mess. And then pick up a 15O seed bead, or excuse me, pick up your crystal first, and then pick up a 15O seed bead. The only time you'll pick up your 15O first is if you're coming out of a super dual, and that's on the first one you do. So pick up your bicone crystal, your 15O, and then go through both of these super duos here, and you'll want to go through the back of the super duos because it's going to be easier to manage your thread without crossing a bunch of other threads. So just turn your piece over, come through the back. And then turn it back over and make sure that your crystal went down nice and neat. And it did. It looks good. So I'm going to turn it back over again. And now I'm coming out of the super duo here. I'm going to go into the top of the super duo. And I'm going to go into the 8O seed bead right here. And turn it over. Like so. And that's your first flower. Now we're going to pick up two 11O seed beads, an 8O seed bead, and two 11Os. We're coming out of this side of the 8O. We're going to go into the opposite side. Pull them down, like so. Let me back off just a little bit. Now we're going to sew around this entire little unit we just added. So I'm coming out of the 8O here. I'm going to go up into these two 11Os. Pull tight. Go into the 8O. And then the two 11Os here. And the 8O here. And then just kind of straighten your unit up so it looks like a nice little circle like this. And then pick up a 15O seed bead, a 4mm bicone crystal, and a 15O seed bead. You're coming out of this 8-0 right here. We're going to go into this one right here on the same side, opposite 8-0, same side we're exiting from on this one. And pull your crystal down. Push it over the top, tighten, and then pick up a 15-0, go back through the crystal, place your thumb over the crystal, pull your needle through, and tighten. And then pick up another 15-0, go down into the opposite side of the 8-0 you started in. So we're coming out, we came out, we started on this side, so we're going to go into this side and pull the 15-0 down. Now, because this is a connection, we're going to sew through the entire thing again, plus it will also help to keep our crystal from moving around. It's like this one over here, we'll sew through it again later when we put on our clasping, but you can see it's moving around a little. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen by going into these two 11-0s again, and then into the 8-0 on top, into the two 11-0s on the side, and I'm just holding on to my crystal. Then I'm going to go into the 8-0 I started in, here. And this is what you should have. Now we need to get back up to this 8-0 to start our next unit. So we're going to go into these two 11-0s one more time. Pull it tightly. Come through the 8-0. Pull tightly. Okay, so now we're coming out of this 8-0 seed bead. Let's back off a little bit. And we'll make our next flower. So we will pick up a super duo, 3 11-0 seed beads, a super duo, and 3 11-0 seed beads, a super duo. And we have 3 super duos. After you have 3 super duos with 3 11-0 seed beads in between them, starting with a super duo and ending with a super duo, you will then pick up an 8-0 seed bead and then a super duo, 3 11-0 seed beads, a super duo, 3 11-0 seed beads. I'm going to drop these down a little, and then a super duo, and this is what you should have. Super duo, 3 11-0s, super duo, 3 11-0s, super duo, 8-0, super duo, 3 11-0, super duo, 3 11-0, super duo. We're going to drop these down. And we're going to go through the 8-0 seed bead on the opposite side we started in. Let's get a little closer now. And maybe not quite that close. There we go. And let's pull our needle through and bring these down into a circle, like so. Now we're going to sew back through this circle. Make sure you go through the bottom hole that you started in with the super duos that you already have on the thread, and then just sew through all of the 11-0s and all of the super duos in the bottom hole. Go through the 8-0 and then do this side, same thing. Don't miss any of your beads or they will bunch up really weird. And then go through the 8-0 again. Now we're coming out of the 8-0 seed bead. We're going to go into the bottom hole of the super duo, the hole we've been working in, and pull the thread through. Then we're going to hop up into the top hole of that same super duo. So just go into the top hole and pull your thread through. Now we're going to draw all of our super duos into the center of the circle we've made. So just go into the next top hole in the next super duo. Don't pull it real tight at this point, just enough to gather them all together here. And just keep going one at a time till you get all the way around, and just draw them towards the inside as you do this. And now I'm all the way around. I'm going to go into the first super duo I started in and the one behind it, just like so. And we're going to sew all the way around again. Again, you don't want it to be extremely tight yet. Go through the next bead, and then to give it a little tug, and then go through these two together. Then you can give it a tighter tug so that side's nice and secure, and then go through this middle one here, give it a tug, and then go through the two, or just one in the middle here. So let me get you close so you can see my needle went under my thread, so hopefully this doesn't pull funny, but right there we're just going to go through one super duo and the two under the 8/0 seed bead and crystal here. So we're coming out between these two super duos. You back off just a little bit, pick up a 15/0 seed bead and a 3mm bicone crystal and a 15/0 seed bead, like so. I'm coming out of this side of this super duo right here. I'm going to go in between the two on this side underneath the 8/0 seed bead and go into the same side that I'm coming out of. So I'm coming out here. I'm going to go into this side here. Right there. And then I'm going to pull this through, and as I pull it through, I'm going to put my finger on top, and I'm just going to tug and make sure that that little embellishment stays there really nice. Now I'm coming out of the super duo right here, and I'm going to pick up a 15/0 seed bead and a bicone crystal, like so. Now I'm going to go into the same side of the center 11/0 that I'm coming out of the super duo. So I'm coming out here. I'm going to go into this side right here in the center 11/0. I'm going to go through the 11/0 behind it. I'm going to go through the super duo and the 11/0 on the other side of it. If you can pick up the middle one, that's fine too, but it's at a funny angle and it's hard to get. Once you bring this down, pull it very tightly. You want your 15/0 to lay on top of the super duos, and you want your thread on this side to lay between the 11/0s, like so. Now I'm going to pick up one more 11/0 here so that I am in the center 11/0. Pull my thread through. Then I will pick up a bicone crystal and a 15/0 seed bead right here. And I will go into the same side of the super duo here that I'm coming out of. So this super duo, I don't want to go into this one. And then I'm going to go through the two that are close together here underneath the crystal and the 8/0 seed bead. I'm going to go through both of them at the same time. And like I said, just do it slowly because sometimes super duos can be kind of a pain in the rear end to pull through. Got my tail. There we go. Now I really got my tail. There we go. That's better. I'm going to arrange my crystal, make sure it looks nice and neat. and give it a nice tug. And now I'm coming out of the super duo here next to the doubled here. I'm coming out of the doubled super duos. I'm going to pick up a 15-0 seed bead and a bicone crystal, and I'm going to go up into this middle seed bead on the same side I'm coming out of the super duos. So my super duos here, I want to go into that side of the 11-0. And then I'm going to go through the 11-0 behind it, the super duo, and the 11-0 behind the super duo. And then I'm going to pull this embellishment down nice and tight, like so. You can do this, just do this meticulously, do it very slowly if you need to, so that everything is nice and neat. Now I'm coming out of this 11-0, I need to get into the center 11-0 to do my last crystal. So I'm going to go into this one here, and then I'm going to pick up a bicone crystal, and I will pick up a 15-0 seed bead, like so. And then I am going to go from this side of my 11-0 into the doubled crystals here. And I'm going to exit the back of, not the doubled crystals, the doubled super duos, sorry. And I'm going to exit out the back of the super duos. So I'm just going to turn it over and come through both of these super duos here while I pull my embellishment down. Then I'm going to turn my piece back over, make sure my embellishment looks good, and fix that one, like so. Now we're coming out of the super duo here. We're going to turn it over. As you can see, I'm coming out of this super duo right here. I'm just going to go up into the top hole of that super duo from the back side and go up through the 8-0. It's just easier at this point, once you have all the crystal and stuff on the front, to turn it over and work, because you'll get your threads crossed and kind of pull your embellishment funny. So you'll just want to work through the back on that part. Now we're going to make the attachment again. So we'll pick up two 11-0 seed beads, an 8-0 seed bead, and two 11-0 seed beads, like so. And we're going to go into the opposite side of the 8-0 we're coming out of. We are then going to sew up the two 11-0s here, the 8-0. We're just going to sew around this entire thing and tighten and secure and strengthen it. Now I am coming out of this 8-0 seed bead. I need to work up to this 8-0 seed bead so that I can, well actually I need to put on my embellishment, excuse me. So I'm coming out of this 8-0 seed bead. I'm going to pick up a 15-0, a 4mm bicone, and a 15-0. And I'm going to go into the same side of the opposite 8-0 from which I'm exiting. So I'm exiting on this side. I'm going to go into this side also, right here. And I'm going to pull this down and push the embellishment on top, like so. Pick up a 15-0 seed bead, go into the crystal. Put your thumb on top of the crystal, pull the thread nice and tight through, give it a little tug, pick up a 15-0, go into the opposite side of the 8-0 you started in. So we started on this side, we're going to go into that side and pull this nice and tight. Now, as you can see, I'm coming out of this 8-0 seed bead right here. I'm going to pop up into these two 11-0s, and I'm going to sew through this connection one more time just to make sure my crystal is secure and my connection is strong. So I'm going to go through this 8-0. I'm going to go through, you can turn it over if you'd like, you can see it better. So I'm coming out of the 8-0. I'm going to sew through these two 11-0s here. So back through the 8-0 that I've connected my little unit here to. And then I'm going to sew up these two 11-0s here and back into my 8-0 and turn it over. And now I am ready to start another flower. So we will go ahead and pick up the flower part, and then we will stop and go to length. So I'm just going to do this part here. I'm going to pick up a super duo, 3 11-0 seed beads, a super duo, 3 11-0 seed beads, a super duo, and then an 8-0, and then a super duo, 3 11-0 seed beads, a super duo, 3 11-0 seed beads, got some 8-0s in there, and a super duo. Just like we've been doing, right there. I'm going to drop them down, going to the opposite side. And from here, you will go ahead and draw all of your, or sew around it again and secure it, and then draw all of your beads together after you come up. After you sew around, you will go into the top hole of this bead here and then sew into all of your other top holes and draw it together just as we've been doing, and then put the crystal embellishments on, sew through, make your next connection, and continue. If you need to see it again, just go ahead and back up the film and watch. Each unit is done exactly the same as the last. So go ahead and make your units until you have 9 flower units and 10 connection units. So just make sure you have a connection here and a connection here, and make 9 flowers with, of course, connections in between. And then we are coming out of the 8-0 seed bead right here after doing our last unit, and we will pick up an 11-0 seed bead, and then we will pick up a bicone crystal, and I'm going to use my 4mm bicone crystal, and then an 11-0 seed bead, and I'm going to drop this down. So 11-0 bicone, 11-0, and then I'm going to grab my clasp, and I'm going to go through my clasp like so. Then I'm going to go back through the 11-0 on top here, right underneath my clasp, and the bicone crystal. Just the bicone, don't go through this one, this 11-0. And then bring your thread through and pull your clasp down. Then pick up another 11-0 seed bead and go into the opposite side of the 8-0 seed bead you started in. So we're coming out of this side. We're going to go, let me get you even a little bit closer. We're going to go into this side of this 11-0. I mean 8-0. Excuse me. I'm calling everything the wrong names tonight. Now, this is what you should have. As we sew up through, I'm going to put a little 15-0 right through here on my last round so that you don't see this little thread here. But first I'm going to go ahead and go through it once, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to secure this by sewing through it again. I'm coming out of this 8-0, I'm going to go up into the 11-0 right next to where I'm at, and the crystal and the 11-0 on top of it. And then I'm going to go through my clasp. And then I'm going to go through the 8-0 again here, and the crystal and the 11-0 on this side now. Now I'm going to pick up a 15-0 seed bead before I go back into my 8-0 right here. So now I'm going to go into the 8-0, and this 8-0 is on the original unit. You can see right here. That's the 8-0 I'm working in. Now I'm going to pull this little 15-0 down. Then I'm going to pick up another 15-0. I'm going to go up into this 11-0, into the crystal, into the 8-0, or excuse me, I'm going to go into the 11-0, the crystal, the 11-0. Then I'm going to go into my clasp. Then I'm going to go back down into the 11-0 underneath my clasp, into the crystal, and into the 11-0 and 15-0 on this side. Now you can sew through this one more time if you'd like to do that. I'm going to call mine pretty secure. It feels pretty firm. I'm going to go back into this 8-0 seed bead that we're connecting to, and I'm going to turn my piece over. And then I'm going to go down into these two 11-0 seed beads right here. So I'm coming out of the 8-0 there. And then I'm going to grab this little thread bridge. As you can see, there's a little thread bridge right between the 8-0s, the 8-0 here and these 11-0s. I'm going to grab it and try to guide my thread to make sure it doesn't go anywhere but between those beads. And then I'm going to go through the loop I've just formed, and I'm going to pull this little knot down between my beads like that. And then I'm going to sew through this 8-0 seed bead here, and I'm going to see if I can go through this super duo, and I can. And then I'm going to go through the 11-0 behind the super duo, and I'm going to go into these two 11-0s, the super duo, and the 11-0s behind them. And right here I'm going to tie another knot. I'm going to grab this little thread bridge between my 11-0s, and I'm going to tie a knot. And then I'm going to go into this one, this 11-0, the super duo behind it. And now the super duos are really difficult to get through, so just take your time. It's going to bend your needle up. That's all normal. And now I'm going to, I don't have my thread zapper near me. Do I? No. So I'm just going to cut this off. I've left some length here, a little too much length. I'll leave a little bit of length, and I'm going to get my lighter since it's nearby, and I'm going to just roll that thread down in there. And that's how you clasp that. That's what that looks like. Let's back off. And now we're going to go to the other side. So we've done this one. Now we're going to connect to this side. So what you need to do is take your needle and put it on your tail thread. You should have left a nice long tail thread like I told you. If not, then go ahead and extend your fire line. Sew through your unit a couple of times on the back side if you extend to hide your knot, and make sure that your clasping will be nice and strong. Go ahead and thread your needle. Sew through the 8-0 seed bead. Just make sure you're coming out of the 8-0 seed bead, because you should be between the seed beads, between the 11-0 and the 8-0 where you tied your knot. Just sew through your 8-0. That's what I have already done. I've already brought my thread through. So then we're going to do the same type of connection here. we will pick up an 11/0 seed bead, and then we will pick up a 4mm bicone crystal and an 11/0 seed bead, like so. Drop them down, pick up the other end of your clasp, go through it, go down through the 11/0 and the crystal, pull this down, pick up an 11/0 seed bead, go into the opposite side of the 8/0 from which you started, like so. Now we're going to sew up through this and secure it, and then as you do your third round, go ahead and put a 15/0 on either side of your 8/0, just like we did on the other side. If you need to watch the other side again, go ahead and do that. So after you've secured it, put your 2 little 15/0s on in your third round securing, then turn it over, sew through it, tie knots, cut off your thread, and we'll be back. Okay, so I am back. I have secured my other end of my clasp, sewed it in nicely and tied it off and cut my thread off and burnt down the end. And this is what the little bracelet looks like. Now this is about a 7-inch bracelet. If you want to, actually let me measure it. It's about 7.5 inches. Just a tiny bit over 7.5 inches actually. No, it's right at 7.5 inches. So if you want to make a bigger or smaller bracelet, then you will just add and subtract units. So instead of making 9 of your flowers, you'll make 8 or 7, however many you think. You can always add more of these units on the end too. If you feel like you need to take 2 flowers off, but yet that might be a little bit too small, then you could always add an extra unit here on either one side or the other, or both. It doesn't matter. You'll just have to adjust your length to shorten or lengthen it by adding and subtracting units. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like on. It really turned out cute, and I really like it. I think it's adorable. Here's my clasping, and also you could do your clasping without crystals in it. That would shorten it too. You could do a lobster claw clasp with an extender. So however, you can change your length several different ways, but this is what it looks like when it's finished, and I think it turned out quite pretty. And I'm tired tonight, so I hope this is an understandable tutorial, and I'll see you next time, and hopefully I won't be quite so tired. Bye-bye.